Hello, hello. This is episode 47 of the Tim's 2 Cents podcast. At least I'm pretty sure it's episode 47. The last one I had in my bank as far as on Audacity is 46, so we'll go with that. I try to just upload something. The thing that Daniel and I use for sharing episodes is down right now, I think. I'm not really sure. I need to text him. But I figured I'd do one of these anyway, just in case. Because I'm not sure if I sent him 46 yet or not, but I figured I'd do one now in case anyway. I haven't done an episode for, I think, about a week. I've been some like random, I mean, it's definitely not random. It's actually pretty evident why I've been having issues the past couple weeks. Or more just like issues concentrating on stuff. Taxes are around now. I have some extra issues right now. Nothing like, I wish I was somehow finagling some kind of grand tax scheme to get out of having to pay for all this bullshit that nothing ever helps. It doesn't I can't really go off too much on taxes because I will just bitch about it for an hour, and I can, and that, I mean, out of all the things that I do not care about or give any shit about, or any shits, any fucks, whatever it is, about anymore, it's definitely, like, I just don't care most of the time about libertarian stuff. I'm not, like, I don't find a lot of, like, I don't find a lot of similarity between me and, like, most of the the bigger libertarian thinkers. I just don't get it. I don't really care. But taxation, and not just taxation, but just the waste of things, and the kind of, just like, it doesn't even make sense that we would give the right to steal from us to these people. Like, I mean, people are always like, well, what happened? I mean, if you got rid of the government, then the warlords would just take over. And it's like, well, yes, that is what has happened now. The government is just the biggest warlord. But at least if they were actually warlords, I could deal with that. I could deal with someone coming knocking on my door and being like, yep, we're going to take your son. He's got to come fight with us. And also, if you don't give us a little bit of money right now, we're going to take your wife and your daughter too for other reasons. I mean, that at least it has an honesty to it. What we do, and at least in America, I don't imagine most people are listening to this who aren't from America or from some kind of a Western country that has the exact same setup, is we spend all of our lives convincing ourselves that we are good and civilized and completely right, and we're not exclusionary of anybody. And then we have all of these laws and these rules to keep you safe from people, because people always listen to laws and rules are never applied incongruously. I don't know if that's a word, but like, it doesn't matter if there's laws and rules if those don't get applied consistently. That's a better word than incongruously. Same thing with like, I mean, this is a completely separate thing, but like speeding tickets, or just any kind of vehicle tickets, where, and this is something, and I mean, vehicle stuff is an aside as far as like that vehicles and car insurance are really the only thing I can complain about as far as being not marginalized, but by society, but like legislated against, because being a young male, I have to pay way more than young women, or than anybody. I have to pay more, and I think that changes soon at some point. I'm 25 now, so I'm not really sure when my insurance starts to go down. It still doesn't seem like it's going down. But back to that, like tickets from the police. How does it even make sense? First off, how does it make sense that the same organization that will break into a drug dealer's the most dangerous thing in America, a meth lab, and they'll go in with SWAT and battering rams and assault rifles because there could be a person on the other side with a shotgun, and but though that same organization is then in control of pulling me over if I go 10 miles over the speed limit or 30 miles over the speed limit or anything like that, and then it's just up to the discretion of the officer whenever he pulls you over, whether you get points on your license, whether you have to pay a fine up to $300, or no, not up to $300. More, I've paid more than that for going 10 miles over the speed limit. Or like it just doesn't, there's no consistency, there's no, it's not that it's logic, it's just, it's so bullshit, obviously. And then we just go, well, at least people, the police don't take bribes like they do down in Mexico. I would rather them take bribes like apparently they do down in Mexico. Maybe then I could give the officer $50, $80 to go home, and he can take that instead of this dumb shit where they're like, no, well, we figured this out, and it's not really, is it a calculation? Do they run the numbers as far as how much to charge me, or are they just like, fuck it, we'll just write this, whatever. And I just don't get it. And I don't get how I'm supposed to get it. I wish somebody could just explain to me why things like that are supposed to make sense, and why things like that are better than just having people drive around and then just randomly pull you over and be like, yeah, give me $50 or else I'm going to write you a ticket and get you points on your license. Just like that would be better. Same thing with taxes. It would be simpler and more honest and less degrading. That's at least my issue with a lot of this stuff, is everything's so degrading, and it's so, no, you are a child and you need to be taken care of, and we need to protect you from yourself, and if you just listen to us, we'll do the best thing here. I'm going to look something up because there's going to be a little bit of noise in the background, because I've definitely referenced this before. Because it's a quote from C.S. Lewis, which I'm not huge on most of what he does. I'm not huge on fantasy in general, but definitely Narnia is not that good. It's not that amazing. But Lewis has a science fiction series, which actually I would say is better than Narnia. It's still kind of weird and kind of ham-handedly Christian. And it's like, well, and then this guy is like Jesus because I was there when the laws were written, which, or something like that. But he has a quote. The quote isn't called this, but the quote is, "Of all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. It would be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes sleep. His cupidity," I'm not sure what that means, "may at some point be satiated. But those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience." And that is like a lot of people, not just the government, but a lot of the people around me that I don't want to hang out with, that I find annoying most of the time. I mean, I can't separate myself from them entirely. Well, I should. That's probably the only advice I'm going to give this entire episode, and it's advice I need to take, is just fuck people. You do not need more than, like, you, obviously as a human, you need to have some kind of a social interaction. I'm not saying cut complete ties with people, but be completely fake with them, just the same way they are with you, or at least I hope that the people who I talk to most of the time are being fake, because if they're not, we're the most spineless group of just losers, of just like, well, I think the taxes are okay, and I don't get why people complain about them. It's only an extra 50 cents on every gallon of gas. I mean, how does that add up? I was like, well, you went to college, right? There's this certain thing where then you have to use something every single day, and you have to multiply it by 365 days a year, and then you look at it afterwards and you go, oh shit, that's a fuck ton of money. But no, we're like, no, I mean, people should just be fine with how things are. Why don't you just watch Shameless on Netflix? It's so good. It has the writing of a fucking sitcom. It's about, the lights went out and there's a blackout across the city, and now I just want to talk to my girlfriend, but I'm going to have an F word in here so that this is somehow better than Friends or Seinfeld. And it's all so fucking bullshit. It's just, it's hard to get angry because there's no passion to get angry at. To get to actually hate somebody, it seems like they have to put out some kind of an emotional fire or some kind of a passion that you kind of rub against wrong. But so many people, and again, and the entirety of the government is just so based on, well, I mean, stuff's kind of okay, so why are you complaining? Even though as soon as anything bad happens, as soon as there's a shooting, as soon as there's a politician embezzling money or molesting children, like that never happens, then we're like, then everyone's like, well, we need to get angry for about a day because we need to somehow be enraged and fly off the handle because this gets us off or something. So, I mean, it just, that seems like what a lot of it is somehow, like, it seems like people get some kind of sexual pleasure out of spiting themselves and being like, well, I don't care about taxes. I don't care about the police. I don't care about the military that does absolutely nothing for me and fights we're not doing proxy wars, even though that was dumb enough back in the Cold War too. But we're just saying, well, it doesn't affect me because I just learned how to deal with it. And it's like, no, you haven't. You just watch television all the time. And you go and you take, well, I mean, I know absolutely nobody, and again, this is another problem, but I know absolutely nobody who is completely sober. And I think that's true for most things. Like, anybody who tells you that they have been sober, they're not sober. They're still taking it, whether it's nicotine or caffeine. Everybody always has to be hopped up on something, regardless of how much it's not psychoactive. That's what they love saying about CBDs. Oh, it's not psychoactive, so that means it's fine. It's like, no, what does that even mean? You're not, if it wasn't psychoactive, you wouldn't be taking it. Food is psychoactive. Go eat a steak. Exercise is psychoactive. Go eat a steak and then deadlift. You're gonna feel different. It's going to affect your mind. But because you can go, oh, well, this kratom isn't psychoactive, so that means I'm sober now. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not. Oh, I just smoke weed to relax. And it's like, no, you don't smoke weed to relax. You smoke weed so that you can just sit in a chair for, what's it called? Maybe I'm projecting a little bit much, but who knows? But yeah, I don't know. I kind of just wanted to record this to just bitch and complain because regardless of who I talk to, nobody really wants to hear this. So I figured I'd throw it at you guys, and Daniel. But it's just like, it's just so sad. I understand why everybody's on antidepressants. I completely get that, because if you're not, then you look around and you go, why is everybody else doing this? I'm bothered by it, but I'm too much of a pussy to not to do anything. I'm too much of a pussy to go, oh, I'm going to go move to wherever and live my life, or I'm going to go join the French Foreign Legion, go do whatever. But it's just like, it seems almost like stuff is just designed to just drain you of any kind of like zest for life or something like that. Like nobody, like there's not even when people go out, and they'll go out on like a weeknight and they're like, yeah, we're going to go get like guys, well, we're all going to go to get together and go get laid. It'll be great. We're going to go. And then they don't. And but again, it's not like, I'm not trying to shit on like a hypersexuality or something like that, but it's not truly lust. Like everything everything in church and in the Bible and all the, whenever I was taught younger, was lust will overcome you and it will destroy you and it will make you do terrible things. And it's like, well, no, again, open lust would be good. Open lust and just like a free sexuality would be good. And like free vice and promoting vice would still be better than what we do. Because what we do is we inundate everybody and ourselves with just commercial sexuality. And all it ends up doing is just making this kind of like desperate kind of, we're going to go out and get laid and it's going to be so much fun. And if you don't like it, then you're an idiot and you're just a loser who just stays in Friday nights and doesn't get completely obliterated just to be able to talk to somebody of the opposite sex or the preferred sex or whatever sex you want to sex. And same thing with Vice. We don't promote Vice. We normalize it. We don't go, yep, no, it's really fun to go out and get hammered and do cocaine and fuck hookers and do all it, and it is. But we don't do that. We do, you know what? If you went out this last night and you drank and you fucked hookers and you did cocaine, that's fine. That means you're just the rest. You're just like us. And it's like, no, that person is not just like you who just drank and then just danced with somebody in a bar and then was like, yeah, I'm going to get laid, and then was too drunk to be able to fuck somebody. That's not the same thing. It is not the same thing. And normalizing Vice like that does nothing except make people have to make the Vice even bigger and greater. Because, like, the point of Vice is to, I mean, for some people, some people, it's kind of just a negative circle. But I think the idea of Vice is like a pressure valve. It's, you do the, like, you're not allowed to do something, and then eventually you do. And then, that kind of gets rid of the issue. You kind of, like, you're not worried about the police pulling you over or for whatever reason and just being like, yep, no, you owe us $350 because you did blow. Like, you got away with something. You got away with a crime. But whenever you normalize it, then you go, well, if me snorting coke off of a stripper's ass is normal, then what do I have to do to get my rocks off anymore? Do I have to kill her? Is that what I have to do? Is that what you want me to do now? Do you want me to have to murder people just so that I don't go insane because you've told me that going home and on a Friday night and then just destroying my entire weekend, just losing it all in my memory by just getting so high on legal marijuana that I don't remember anything and just taking Xanax, and that was a good, that's called self-care. You just need to take some weekends, like, especially after a hard week at work, you just need to take some time off and just do you and just let you be how you are. That's completely natural, completely healthy. Even if something is that, there's no need to, like, even if it is maybe healthy to occasionally go on a bender, which I have no idea. I don't know the medical behind that. I don't know the mental. I don't know. But even if it was, you take at least 90% of the fun out of something by going, like, something quote unquote bad. You take all the fun out of it by going, no, that's actually okay. Like, cocaine is not that fun. It's not that good. I definitely I think I've mentioned something like that before because I think Daniel commented on it. He's like, are you okay, man? But cocaine isn't that good. It's not that fun. It doesn't make the world amazing. But because we see it in movies and because now it's on shows and it's music and it's all these things, it's again, at least for a while, and it still is, where it's not something that you see on billboards like, yep, no, you're gonna get legal cocaine now. But it's just more powerful caffeine. Like, you can get you just take some caffeine and then, I don't know, maybe smoke a joint and you'll get exactly what cocaine is. It's just like, it's just, your palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, whatever the fuck. Your palms are sweaty, you have delusions of grandeur, and sometimes you have delusions of grandeur broken up by vast points of paranoia. That's about all it is. But but again, it's been so celebrated. Maybe I'm making an argument against what I was saying. Maybe I'm making an argument as to why exactly what I've been saying is wrong, but who knows? That's kind of what this podcast is for. But I don't even know how I got to this point in the podcast. I feel like it's been a while. I haven't really been looking at Audacity since I did that quote from C.S. Lewis, but it's actually already been 20 minutes somehow. So I'm probably going to wrap up around there. I don't really know how many points I made, or if any of them really made any kind of sense. But I guess, the thing to leave with is, like, just stop. Just stop with, let's stop with the language. And I don't mean that as like, oh, watch what you say in front of people. I mean, like, let's stop living so much of our lives in the realm of words and what the words mean and how that makes you feel about a certain object, because that is true. And I get that. And words are very important in a sense that they can ruin things very quickly. They very often don't make things more positive. They just make them more safe whenever you describe things with different words. But like, we have I think our culture has a thing with, and it's probably because of social media, it's because of Twitter, but it's pictures too, but Twitter and people being able to just send out their stupid words to everybody makes it like, well, as long as we can just describe our world better, that means that everything's going to be better, everybody's going to be smarter, everybody's going to be more intelligent, which we've shown plenty of times now that's not true. But yeah, as far as advice, try not spending and this, maybe this isn't a problem for you, it's more of a problem for me. Try spending more of your life not justifying things to yourself. Just do them. If you want to go do something, go do it. Don't be like, well, I should be allowed to do this because I've put a lot of work in and that means I deserve to treat myself. Just do it. And then discipline yourself later. Discipline yourself whenever you need to. And then when you don't need to, go do whatever you want. But don't, one, don't justify things to yourself. But two, even more importantly, don't spend your time justifying things to other people. Don't justify yourself to other people. Because it's annoying and it's also pointless and it does nothing to help anybody just because you go, well, no, you see, the reason why I smoke is because I'm very, very touchy and it helps me relax and just figure things out, and it's just, nobody wants to hear that and it's not going to help you. Just smoke. Just shut up and smoke. That's really all I can do. Just shut up and smoke. Shut up and go fuck that hooker. Shut up and go do that cocaine. Shut up and go speed. Shut up and do whatever. But just shut up.